Back live here, Finley Hyundai Studios on a Hump Day Wednesday, getting you closer to the weekend, more NCAA basketball. We got some baseball talk. Let's go to the yard here, talk some ball, and stick with the arguably hottest team in the state right now, the Utah Tech Trailblazers. They've won 8 out of 10. They've beat 2 Big 12 teams, in-state Big 12 teams in a row. They played BYU last Monday, and then last night at Brewster's Field, great crowd on hand. I was down there watching as the Trailblazers got out to a great start, had a big lead, cruised to a 12-8 lead. Coach, was it a cruise? I don't know if cruise is the right word because they came back, cut it to 9-8 there. It got a little dicey for a minute, but huge win for you in the program again, beating the Utah Utes last night.
Yeah, it was great. You're right. Good crowd. Guys played really well. Really happy with, Brock obviously started and threw well in the bump. And then our offenders, I thought, did a tremendous job of running our game plan yesterday.
Coach Chris Pfatenhauer, you guys already have more wins than last year. How's that feel going into the meat of the conference schedule that's upcoming?
Yeah, it's good. This is what we've built for. We've recruited hard. We've coached them really hard. And it's a really good group to coach.
McDaniels, Ketchke, Lopez, like some guys are swinging the lumber right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of at-bats back, and it means a lot when guys have had Division I at-bats, when they've seen this pitching, they know what to expect. They know the grind. That's the biggest thing, and I think Brock's probably feeling that right now, the road trips, and there's no days off, and there is one day off a week by NCAA rule, but, it's a grind. Travel and what we go through, and so for having some older guys that have been through it means a lot.
Brock, I want to talk about the last 2 starts with you, but I want to go back to the conversation you had with Coach Fate and Bobby and Braxton, some of the assistant coaches, to come back home after the JUCO route out of Pineview High School. What was the conversation like? Was it easy for you to come back to your hometown and become a Trailblazer?
Yeah, it was awesome. I remember talking my freshman year to my JUCO coach, just saying how it was a dream to come back and play in front of my family and people like that, and just the people that I grew up playing against and stuff like that. And so it was definitely easy to make the decision.
Now, it's interesting because your dad was hidden in the stands last night among the 1,500 people or whatever, but then as soon as you exited after 5 innings, he came out and sat next to me down in the boxes. Is that something about Dad where he sits? It's good luck when you're on the bump? What's going on with that?
No, we had some family up there that he was sitting with and stuff like that, and so I think that some of them might have left after I threw, or maybe they just were in the sun up there and then decided to come down close to the game when it got close. But yeah, it was cool to see all of them there.
Take me through, like, what's it like going from Pineview to JUCO and then starting against BYU and then starting against Utah? Not only starting, but giving your team a huge performance and getting wins in those games.
It's definitely a big jump. Even just from high school to JUCO was a jump, and then I feel like earlier in the year it was a little bit rougher for me to make the jump from wood bats and heavy air to coming down to metal bats where the ball jumps a little bit more. I definitely got a taste of the 4-year medicine and the metal bats, but it's been good the last 2 outings.
Coach, talk about Brock. Rough start, like he said. You're a little nervous. You're like, is he going to adjust? And boy, oh boy, he's settled in now.
Yeah, that's something we go through a lot with the SWAC pitchers and the NWAC pitchers that have pitched to wood bats, and we kind of tell them, but I think until they get punched in their mouth a little bit, they don't understand that you got to pitch to an edge. You got to pitch down in the zone. We preach low strikes, but he's done a nice job. And it wasn't rough. There were some outings here and there, but he just had to find himself, and we had to kind of get him locked into a routine. And now he's there, and we like it.
Pitching, you and I have had some conversations. The pitching ERA the last 2 seasons at this point in the season versus this year, it's a night and day difference.
Yeah,
that's been a huge advantage for you guys.
Yeah, it is. And our starters have done a great job. Whether it's the weekend guys with Montgomery, Martinez, West, Brock's had a weekend start. Plus the midweek stuff. Tyler Ray, who was plugged into service a little bit. All those guys have given us a chance every week, and it's credit to Coach Stang and having. We've had a hard time keeping our staff together over the years, just budgetary and some resource things, but having our whole staff together now for 2 years in a row, and having a pitching coach there for 2 years in a row, you've seen some jumps and some growth, and it's paramount for our program. It gives us a chance to win every day.
Brock, Coach mentioned his pitching coach, Coach Stang. What's that relationship, pitcher and pitching coach, like for you?
It's been awesome. I think every pitcher on our staff loves him, and he works well with all of us and kind of find a way to work especially with all of us. And so I love it. I think everybody loves it, and it's definitely cool having him call the games. It's just about making big pitches in some big moments, and he's been awesome for us.
Is that new to you? Like in high school, did you have a free reign to call your own games with your catcher with Luke Iverson behind the dish a lot at Pineview, or is that new to you? I mean, JUCO, did you have the dugout calling pitches for you?
Yeah, I've always pretty much just had pitches called for me, but we've always had the free will to shake, which has been awesome because, I mean, if you got something in mind and you're confident with the pitch, it's always nice to go to it.
Has that always been the case, Coach, or is Coach staying? You just said it's yours, go, or have you guys let pitchers and catchers call games in the past?
No, we've often called it. I mean, at this level, just about everybody we see. I mean, it's called from the dugout, and sometimes it's as much about the running game, or the bunt game or the short game, and controlling some of those things. But also, in the big leagues, it's 24 hours a day, and with us, our guys are student athletes, and they're in the classroom, and us as coaches are watching a ton of video. We are putting the scouting report together. So, unlike the major leagues where maybe it's the pitchers and catchers and they're watching that video and breaking down the game plan, at our level, our guys have so many other responsibilities. So we're doing a lot of that. So we usually call those games.
Brock, I got to ask you, going back to Brock Roundy with Coach Chris Pfatenhauer here, Utah Tech baseball. They've won 8 of their last 10, 15 wins already on the season. Brock, what was your favorite strikeout against BYU, and what was your favorite strikeout last night? I think you got 14 strikeouts in the last 2 games.
I mean, I'm gonna have to say just Region 9 matchup and say Vest, just because it was lefty on lefty, and he's been a good hitter every single year he's been there. So that was big for me. And then last night,
the guy that I think you got him twice, their big gun that might be drafted.
Cord Jackson, the other shortstop, 2-hitter.
Yeah, I mean those were huge. It's definitely a little bit easier to work lefty on lefty than maybe big righty, but those were both, I mean, huge, and I was happy to execute those pitches.
There's not how many lefties you got on the roster?
On the mound?
Yeah.
2.
Just 2.
Yeah, we're a little light there. That's something we're looking at in the recruiting process, but our right-handers done a good job. I mean, we had a hard time early getting left-handers out. I think that was a piece of it, but we've had to make some adjustments and get after a little more.
Talking with Brock Roundy, Chris Pfatenhauer. Brock, what's next? Coach, what's next? Because you got the bye week this weekend in WAC play. Yeah. So if you wanted to do somewhat of a pitching reset and shuffle the order, this would be your chance, I guess.
Yeah. We'll look into a lot of different things, and with Coach Stang and I, and look at where we're going from here. It is a little awkward because we do have a bye week, which isn't often. And then we run Utah back next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday it's BYU again. So do we want to run Brock in that same spot? Do we want to move him into a weekend? And not that anybody on the weekend shouldn't be there, but it might be best for the program. But we'll look into some different options.
Yeah, maybe give those 2 teams a different look. Mm-hmm. Yeah, although you had some great success, it's an interesting thing. I was looking at the schedule, the way it plays out, and I was curious your thought process on that. So everything's on the table right now.
Yep.
Yeah. What else has been different from last year with this year's squad, Coach? I mean, man, it seems like the dugout's chattering, guys are upbeat. It just seems like everybody's just bought in a little bit more. Not that they weren't the last couple of years, but it's easier when you're winning some games.
It is. I mean, it's easy to create culture in winning environments. I shared that when I was on the air with Dave McCann at BYU. When you're 35-12, culture's kind of there, right? When you're 14 and 30, it's a little harder to create that, but we've stayed with our plan, over my whole career here, and what we've preached and what we've got, and we've got the right guys in place, and certainly winning helps. I think the starting pitching's been huge. When you have a chance to win and you get in that 4th and 5th and 6th inning and you're right in it, that helps a ton. But yeah, we've got great guys. This is the closest team that we've had in my 13 years, and again, that's not to discredit any of those teams prior, or some 40-win teams, some regional semifinal teams, but this team really likes each other a lot. They're really bought in, and they get after it.
Paul, you and I played you were mic'd up with McCann. We played Roundy's highlight. I think we played a PD highlight, and I think the quote of the week last week was "Holy Toledo." Did you get some texts or calls on that comment?
I don't think I did, but
I almost.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, I mean, I was only on for like 5 pitches.
Yeah,
I mean, we had good play at third base. We
had
ton
of action when you were on.
Yeah, the comebacker behind the back that I thought should have been on Sports Center, and then Petey makes the play up the middle, and I think Dave got 1 or 2 questions in, but no, it's always fun when our guys play defense, and honestly, we've got a lot of errors when you look at it, but we've covered so much ground. Like our 3 infielders covered more ground than anybody else in the country. I think Petey right now, he's number 2 in the country at runs saved. So
what does Petey weigh? $150? Soaking wet?
He's gotten more physical.
160?
He's done a great job in the weight room. That's been his biggest jump is, yes, he's still a little scrawny, but he's strong and he has gotten after it and been pushed, and Coach Timmons done a great job with him and the rest of our guys in the weight room. And that's, I'd tell you, part of our success right now is what we do in the weight room and with our conditioning program, and that's made a huge jump for us.
And Coach, talk about, you guys obviously beat Utah and BYU, not just two D1 programs, but two Beehive State D1 programs. Talk about how that impacts recruiting, getting you guys exposure, all the things that those big wins do for a program.
Yeah, it certainly does. Our new hitting facility doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
If you've been by the yard, I mean,
sweet.
That's a huge jump. Not just in recruiting, but in the development of what we can do with our guys. We've hit more in the last 2 months than we've ever hit. Together and on their own, but yeah, I mean, it's big. I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say I've got more emails each day after those 2 wins from recruits and from people interested in our program.
Nice little pop, right after those wins.
At the end of the day, I do get a lot of texts after those games and people supporting us, whether it's alumni, supporters, administration. But it's like me and Ken Beezer, our athletic director, last night went back and forth on a text, and I said, those are great, but the ones that matter come in 2 weeks. Utah Valley
Conference games.
Conference.
Yeah.
And bottom line in the WAC, I mean, it's a one bid league. You really got to win that tournament to get in, and this is our first year eligible to do that. And so we're trying to position ourselves the best we can to win the regular season or be in a great place going in the conference tournament to have a chance to win that thing, because that's why all these guys came here, and that's what we want to do for them.
Coach, I know this is a little bit out of left field, baseball term, but the WAC seems like it's on a little bit of shaky ground right now. How do you focus on the season? It's pretty easy, right? You're so busy. You're on road trips. You're with the guys 24/7. But you've heard the rumors about the WAC and the direction it might be going in the future, and it's on shaky ground.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really affect what we're doing right now. I mean, it affects me and my work, my office work, right, and preparing schedules for the future and looking at 26, 27, 28, and where we're going to be. I don't know anything more than anybody else does. I mean, Ken's doing a good job.
Really.
Yeah, Ken's doing a good job of keeping us in the loop. We meet every other week. I have to miss some of those now because we're in season, but certainly we all have questions, and hey, we're going and playing these WAC teams, and they're asking us what we know, and then, we're asking them what they know. But we've had a saying in our program for a long time, control the controllable, and I don't have any control of those things. So, when I get on the yard, it doesn't change anything of what we're doing and how we're teaching our guys and coaching them up. But it'd be nice to figure out, where we're going to be in the next couple of years. But I think all those chips will kind of fall here soon.
Coach Chris Pfatenhauer, Utah Tech skipper, Brock Roundy, local Pineview product, now playing for the Trailblazers, beat the Utes and the Cougars in the last 9 days now this morning. Brock, when there's a visit on the mound, do you embrace that, or do you get a little nervous when Stang or Coach Fate's coming out to the bump? And what are those? I always wonder: is there jokes? Is it keep it light, or is it all business? What are those meeting on the mounds like at the D1 level?
I mean, usually it's just him coming out and telling me maybe I'm going back to some bad habits or some things that we've kind of tried to get away from in the fall and stuff like that. And so it's kind of just good for him to come out there and help me reset out on the mound where I could kind of tone back in.
There's no jokes?
It depends on the mood.
Yeah. Are you better than golf right now than you were in high school? Because for those that don't know, Brock was a really good golfer. I mean, I've seen him hit 350-yard drives left and right. Who was longer, you or your twin brother?
Me.
You were longer. Yeah, you were longer.
We were about the same.
Yeah. Golf's on the back burner right now, though, buddy.
Yeah.
You got business to attend to. What's the clubhouse atmosphere like from a player's perspective, man? It seemed just great last night from the dugout.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, I feel like all the guys are meshing well together and stuff like that. And even, I mean, we've lost some close games maybe that we should have won and stuff like that. And that's kind of when you see things kind of fall apart. But I feel like our team's done a great job at staying together and stuff like that, and staying as one. So it's been fun.
Who's your biggest fan? Is it mom? Is it dad? Is it Brandon? Like, who is it?
That's
hard to answer, probably.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty hard to answer, but my dad's been there pretty much always, just whether it's tossing to us, tossing BP, playing catch when either my brother's gone or something like that, and I need somebody to throw with. He's always been there for me, and so that's huge. But I mean, my mom's always been there to support and text me before games and stuff like that. So everybody's been huge.
What do the pitchers have their own little group within the group of the team? I mean, you guys, is the pitching staff tighter, or is it all intertwined and everybody's hanging with everybody when you're not at practice or you're not playing a game?
I mean, I feel like everybody hangs out with each other, which has been awesome. I mean, I feel like usually when you get the divide between the staff and the hitters is kind of when you see some problems, but I feel like we've had a good mix of like knowing when to kind of keep it with the staff and when to mix with all of each other. And so I feel like we're doing a great job.
What does a Utah Tech baseball player do? Like this weekend, you probably get a couple days off, at least one, right, Coach?
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, get off.
We're giving them Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday off. Like, will you guys go hang with the family, or will you guys, some of you get all together and play some video games? Like, what does an off day during the season look like as a player nowadays in Division I baseball?
I mean, I know I'm going to play some golf, and I'm probably going to drag some of my teammates with me, and so that's going to be awesome. But I'm sure that there'll be some kids maybe go to San Hollow or maybe go back and see some family, and so it'll be fun.
It'll be a mixed bag, huh? What's the average score right now?
For golf?
Pitchers love golf, don't they, Coach?
Yeah.
And you don't mind. It's not screwing up his
For
swing.
some reason, our pitching coach does not. Guy pitched in the big leagues too, and he's not a fan.
Really?
Yeah.
But Brock's
We
not,
drag him out once in a while.
Brock's
but
not getting any ABs, so you don't have to worry about his golf swing getting screwed up.
We welcome our guys. We have a lot of guys. It was funny in the past when I first got here, we had so many fishermen and hunters.
Really?
We had a lot of guys that would go out at 5 a.m. and fish or hunt and then go to school and practice. And now we've got a lot of golfers, so we've got a ton of golfers in our program.
There are a lot of comparables, right? Like the focus you have to have over a tight shot into a green over water versus trying to hit the edge on a slider. I mean, there's some comparables, I'm sure. I mean, you're keeping fresh with your mind at least. Golf is such a mental game, and I know baseball is considered a big mental game. Sure. How much of the game of baseball at this level is mental versus athletic ability? Because players that come to Utah Tech now that we're Division I and we're in the WAC, they're already really good.
Yeah.
How much of it is mental beyond that?
Yeah, there's a big part of that. I think mental and emotional. Being able to control those things and stay locked in and engaged and continue to run your process. And I think guys like Brock who have had success at lower levels, not to degrade that, but junior college, we recruit a lot of those guys. I think when they get here, there's that punch in the mouth we talked about with Brock too, and whether you can overcome that. No joke, April Fools, April 1st, next game. 4:00 up against the University of Utah, and then you dive right back in to all the conference play. 1 and 2 in conference, real quick. You kind of let that Saturday game that slipped away. You probably should have went 2-1 against Baptist in Riverside. Yeah, we've lost 6 one-run games, like Brock was talking about. We've lost 6 one-run games, and that was one of them. We led 5-1 in the 5th, I think it was, and kind of let them chip back in, and we took the lead again, and kind of gave it away late, but good program. I mean, He called me the other day and said that in their local newspaper down there, it said in our careers together, we're 27-27 against each other. Wow. Since I've been here, and he's been at Cal Bap. And so great rivalry, which will be coming to an end as they're leaving conference. But
are they going to the Mountain West or the West Coast Conference?
Big West, actually.
Big West.
So, but no, we've left some games out there, and we got to not do that down the stretch here. And we'll be ready as we kick back off next week against Utah and Utah Valley. Utah road game next Tuesday, and then next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, big set. Let's pack Brucehurst Field against the Wolverines. Utah Valley, they'll have some familiar faces on their roster. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Luke Iverson, former teammate of yours, Brock. That'll be fun. You guys going to have a little text battle before the actual battle on the field? Yeah, probably. I mean, we have our text battles all throughout the year, so. And between summer ball, so it'll be fun. Yeah, they got Landon Fry, you got P.D. Soto, they got Herman, who was with you guys last year, coming out of their bullpen, from what I understand, this year. So, may the best team win. Yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Chris Pfatenhauer, Brock Roundy, talking Utah Tech baseball live on the drive. Brock, good to see you, Coach. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for letting Brock join us this morning. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. All right, we've got to take a break. If you missed any of that, we'll get that posted on the podcast, and we'll be back in a flash to wrap things up on a Wednesday morning.